Hello all, I'm Tori Maston, and today we will be talking about family, marriage, and relationships. Before we get started, I would like to let y'all know that I do have a speech impediment, so if I'm a little slow or say words incorrectly, that is why. What is a family? So there are multiple definitions of a family. First, I'm going to start off with the two dictionary definitions. The first one is a group of one or more parents and children living together in a unit. The second one is all descendants and common ancestors. So the types that the textbook talks about are Burgess's definition, Murdoch's definition, and Malowski's definition. So first we're going to talk about Burgess. So he has a couple of things that make a family. The first one is when you're legally family, so adoption or marriages or things like that. Another one is if you live together or if you interact together and then create and maintain a common culture. Murdoch's definition, and I'm going to quote from the textbook, is a social group which is defined as adults of both sexes with at least two of them maintaining a socially approved sexual relationship. And this is economic cooperation and reproduction. So when two people are having sex for reproduction. And the Malinowski's definition is defined family member or family versus familiar structures. What describes a family? So the textbook has 8 traits that define a family. One is when people are tied by marriage, blood, or adoption or choice. The other is living together or apart by choices or circumstances. Another is having interaction within family roles. Creating and maintaining common culture, being characterized by economic cooperation, deciding to have or not to have children, either own or adopted, having boundaries, and claiming mutual affection, love, and trust. Some other ones are conflict resolution. So when you and a family member has a conflict, you are able to talk it over and come up with a solution or compromise. A sense of belonging. So a lot of people in their family, what they define a family as is a sense of belonging. And then positive reinforcement is another thing that describes a family. Ways families communicate. So the textbook has 2 ways that families communicate. One way is socio-orientation. So this is more when everyone is the same. There's not much individuality or self-expression. Harmony is preferred over expression of opinion, so not much arguing. It is peacekeeping over peacemaking. The other one is concept orientation. So this is just the opposite of socio orientation. So this is more freedom of expression. So like my nose piercing, my lip piercings, my pink hair. Communication is more frequent, and family life is more pleasurable. This type of family might have difference in religions and things like that, different views and values, but they're all able to be themselves. Families change. So first I'm going to talk about Weaver and Layton's family life cycle. So first they say it's young children's, and then young couples with no children, full nest 1, preschool children, full nest 2, school-aged children, full nest 3, older children, empty nest 1, still working, launched children, empty nest 2 is retired, and then solitary survivor is also retired. This quote here says families don't have to match. You don't have to look like someone else to love them. So sibling relationships. So the textbook talks about 4 different sibling relationships. Hostile is the first one. Hostile is when siblings are aggressive toward each other with words and or actions. And then siblings are more likely to internalize these problems. The other one is uninvolved, so it's kind of like you both live together, but you live separately. You don't have many problems, but you don't have the benefits of something like a harmonious relationship. The other one is affect intense. This is perceived as more satisfying than hostile relationships, often found in divorced families. And then the last one is harmonious, and it's exactly how it sounds. This is when siblings are very close and they have friendship relationships, and there's more lower level of problematic relationships. Preserving sibling relationships. So there are some ways to preserve sibling relationships. One is humor, so having humor with your siblings. Another is social support, family events, confirmation, and having an escape. There's also verbal aggression in the textbook, and this is just how sibling relationships are maintained. Okay, so there are different types of marriages also. This one's a little more difficult to explain, but when it comes to types of relationships, there's traditionals, independents, and separates. So like in a same-sex relationship, traditions are usually the same, independents are more, and separates are less. Whereas with gay men, traditions are same, independents are less, and separates are more, usually. Obviously, this isn't for everyone. Another chart shows that traditionals could be less in a heterosexual relationship, independents more, and separates more, with lesbians having traditionals more, independents less, and separates less. And that is it. I hope you guys learned something and have a great day. The source that I did use was the textbook. And that is